Hello lovely butterflies, it's France. Welcome to this journal on Monday, week 148. I'm working in my beloved Journal on Monday art journal, and I'm starting with some black gesso that I'm just applying with a brayer, trying to keep it in a very thin layer and just, well, having something going on the spread. To soften everything down, I'm doing the exact same thing, this time with white gesso, and that will push my black gesso a bit to the background because this is quite harsh and it's right there in your face. For step number 3, I'm taking out some premium acrylics. Going from copper to phthalo turquoise to turquoise hue, and then just applying it with my palette knife here and there. I do want to add some watered down fluid acrylic, but I also want to protect the rest of the page, and of my journal, obviously. So I'm sticking down some kitchen roll, having my cloth ready, and now I can start playing with my phthalo turquoise, but this time in the fluid acrylic. I want to add some more of that copper, and this time I want to use the heat to create bubbles. Because it's a metallic acrylic paint, the air will get trapped with more ease inside the paint, and when I heat it up, well, the air will expand and that will create the bubbles in the paint. I'm working area by area because if the paint is already dry when I come in with my heat gun, well, the air will not expand anymore. So I need the paint to still be wet so that it can move when the air gets heated up. I want to add some very fine strips of tissue tape. This will not only add like the stamping that is visible on the tape to the spread, but it will also bring in some more of that white again over the color. And to make sure my tissue tape stays in place over time, and especially with the next layers that I'm going to apply, I'm giving it a bit of matte varnish, ultra matte varnish on top of it. I'm adding some stamping to the background. For this one, I'm using one of my stamps from my Rock and Rust stamp set by Illusionary Artist, and just stamping it with black archival ink. And then repeating the process, this time with a different stamp, and this one is from my London, New York stamp set. And some more. This time I'm adding an actual wording into the background. So I have to make sure that it's really visible and readable, which it is. This is my rock formation stencil, the small version of it, and I'm taking out a couple of distress inks, and I'm just going to add some very light touches going over the stencil with the distress inks. Using a Uniball Signo Broad, I'm adding some journaling again straight on the page. I want to add a line of Crackle Paint, so I'm using my torn circle and I'm protecting what I don't want to be filled with the Crackle Paint. And I also want to protect that little piece of copper paint that I have underneath there because it's so nicely bubbled. I do not want it to be covered up with Crackle Paint either. And now I can just apply a thin layer. Once this is done, I'm walking away and I'm leaving it to dry by itself because I know that that's how I will get the best crackles. Coming back to it, I want to add some warm color. So I'm going in with pink, which is not usually my go-to, but today that's what I felt like doing. I also want to push some of the things more into the background, so I'm using white gesso to do so and just dabbing it on in a very thin layer using a sponge. To balance out the spread, I want to add some more of that white crackle that I have going on, so I'm going to apply it in another area, and this time I'm using my small torn circle stencil so that everything is in balance. For some reason I want to add more pink, and I want that pink to be more vibrant, so lighter, so that it really stands out from the page. So I'm mixing up the same red that I used, well, purple that I used, and mixing it up with some white to lighten it up, and then adding some more accents. And again, to counterbalance, I'm doing the exact same thing, but this time with black gesso, so that it still all works together. And then some white splatters, and you will see that that will light up the whole spread. I picked out the wording that I want to use, and I want to add some white cambric to it to make it work with the rest of the spread. But before putting it in place, I want to add some more stamping, and this again is one of my stamps from my Perfect Word stamp sets. While making this spread, I do have a lot to say, so I decided to add even more journaling. So I'm drawing my circle, and that will be my base to journal around. I'm using a 0.2 Unipin pen to do so, and they can really take a lot because I already have a lot of texture going on, gesso and everything on my spread, and the pen is still working perfectly fine. I also want to add some plaster, which has already been colorized for a previous project, so I'm just adding a tiny strip of it. And also some cambric that was colorized with Quin Gold. I still want to push more stuff into the background, so I'm going back in with the gesso and the sponge and dabbing it on. Now all the products, especially all my products that I've used, will be listed in the description of this video, so you can check them all out directly on my web shop. And that's it for Journal Monday week 148. I hope you liked today's video. If so, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Click on the little bell to receive notifications of new videos. This video is 15 minutes long, but the Patreon edition was over an hour. So if you would like more insights in this, if you would like to join me for live hangouts, the Patreon link is in the description of this video. Thank you so much for joining me again today, and see you back next time. Ta-da!